Because when they start having demonstrations, C.T. Vivian, bold, audacious, little old skinny black man, but with more guts than the law allowed. Was up there talking to Jim Clark one day, telling Jim Clark, we're coming in this courthouse and we're going to vote. Don't make no difference what you think about it. We have rights. Jim Clark said, you ain't coming up in this courthouse. C.T. Vivian kept on talking. Sheriff Jim Clark took the club of the end of his nightstick and knocked C.T. Vivian clean off of the courthouse steps, down the steps, onto the sidewalk. You see how right they were about Jim Clark? He didn't have self-control. His hatred and bitterness was so vicious that he was going to keep on making mistakes, just like Chief Burns, keep on making mistakes. He doesn't care anything about the outcry of a white female police officer. He doesn't care anything about the outcry of 2 or 3, 4 black male police officers. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't even care about the outcry of a police officer that he's fired twice. Twice. She's been fired twice by the police department. Can't say strictly that he did it, but that's Lieutenant Brzee, who's got more guts than the average guy, let alone just for a woman, and she's beat him twice and made him hire her back. But did Burns learn lessons from that? No, he haven't learned any lessons from that. So didn't Jim Clark. State trooper told her to run. And so he run for what? You know how black women are. You know, run for what? That's what you would have said. So he cracked her, you know. So she still didn't run. And then he really put a whammy on her. He hit her down behind the neck, across the neck with that nightstick and knocked her unconscious. And then as she laid on the ground, he sprayed it. They had these old tear gas pumps back then, you know, where you hold a nozzle and have to pump the tear gas. Well, he just held it right over and just pumped on her, you know. She's got a horse throat thing that she carries as a badge of honor right now and brags about it, because that's a sign and a symptom of that use of force. I'm going to wind this whole story up with this before I turn you over to Mrs. Robinson. Mrs. Robinson laid out there on the street, and people were being hurted everywhere. They beat them all the way back to the church, in the church, to their homes, in their apartments, everywhere. And somebody said, there's somebody over there, and we believe they're dead. Sheriff Jim Clark said, if there's somebody over there dead, let the buzzards eat them. And the people said, if you don't go get that person, we're going to burn this town down. And you know, back then, black folks burned up everything, their stuff and everybody else's stuff, you see. So Sheriff Clark struck a new consciousness and called an ambulance. She was picked up, taken to the hospital, and she hasn't stopped running since. And she hasn't stopped kicking butt and taking names since. She hasn't stopped teaching and telling and advocating for rights since. She's all over this world, Germany, you know, and all over Europe, you know, and other countries, teaching basically young people about guts and strength and courage, commitment, and just being somebody. And so here she is at 97 years old, still on the case in Macon, Alabama, to talk to people who's standing for right, who's standing for something, who care about yourselves, you know, and who's willing to fight. If you ain't willing to fight, you ain't worth the salt in your system, you see? Because when you're fighting for right, it's going to make some people uncomfortable, but sooner or later, it's going to make a lot of things better for a lot of people. And now, I give you Mrs. Amelia Boynton Robinson.
While Chief was talking, I just wondered, what are we living for? Just why? And I'm wondering, are we happy or are we satisfied in letting racists? Now, one thing about it, I've lived long enough and I've gone around the world to know there's some good people, there's some bad people, and race And if we work together like we did to get the right to vote, we can accomplish something. Let's go back to the time that the guy came in to beat my husband. I really stepped between them. Now, this is one thing that I can say, and if you look back, you'll find that women are strong. God made us for a purpose, and we can fulfill that purpose. He didn't take a bone out of man's foot. When he made Adam, he found that Adam needed a mate. He took a rib from the side that man and woman can accomplish the whole world if they want to. But women are there to give wisdom and understanding. And yes, leadership also. And I am very proud of the leadership women are given. And you're the one who's been fighting, stick in there. Beat them at their own game. And the only way we're going to beat them is to persevere, to keep on, and let them know that you cannot beat me down. Well, I'll go to higher places, even if I have to go as high as Washington, D.C. And this case that you have here is very much similar to what we did in Selma, Alabama. Now, you know, God is really tired of controlling.